68% quicker than just doing it by hand. Today we turn an old blazer into a full-on couture piece. Lots of beading, lots of speed hacks coming up. Calling this one, don't worry, bead happy. You don't need this, you don't need this. You're not gonna use it. Well,
I was just thinking about it, I'm not gonna do it. I did it.
today we're gonna try to sort of hand embroider, but make it a little more fun with this bead spinner. So this is the blazer that I find in a pile of clothes that I used to wear as like a sort of vertical. Let's start with the color story though, because that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. There are a lot of beads on the internet, guys. It took me hours to make a decision, days for them to arrive. The anticipation was high as a kite, but you feel it coming. The size, the color, the amount, nothing was really what I thought I ordered. So I went to an actual shop, but they only had this box full of assorted colors, which may look innocent at first glance, but in reality... yeah, these colors are a little outside of my comfort zone too. This is gonna be a challenge. If you're wondering why do we look a little tired today, the ring light is not working. Everything's stopping at the same time. It's the equipment apocalypse that we're in. My idea is to create a sort of trompe l'oeil effect by embroidering only over the white stripes. It will all make sense in a bit. So I want the majority of the bead to be whitish to match the stripes. It's better to do it now because it's a little bit easier without the beads on it. Trying to use my iron as a sort of steam machine, which never works that well, but I think together with spraying some water on it, it is a little bit more effective. Oh, satisfying. Oh, okay, I don't really think I have the poise for ASMRs. But since the colors aren't really choosing themselves, unfortunately, after 30 minutes of staring, I had to start mixing some beads. Not really realizing it would take me another half an hour to just open the packaging without throwing it all over the house.
15 minutes later.
Oh, I've already had it. The point of mental breakdown seems to come earlier and earlier in my project. I always do the pull test. If I can pull like this, not too hard, I feel like it must be strong enough. Then it's sort of a spinning top, but don't worry, it's not gonna go all over the place, as it's on a cute little stand. It thoughts about everything. And to get into the zone, yours truly had a little twirly twirl already, so you can already see where the beads go, namely inside. Duh. Then there's a long sort of bent needle in the kit to fish up the beads, then doing a little test to see if the beads even go over the needle. Nope. Well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm just kidding, but I did have a little bit of a moment. I was a little hesitant because I only had a one and I really had to go through the eye of the needle here. Squeeze the eye of the needle a little bit tighter. With beading hard, that was my only needle and I definitely don't want to ruin it, but it seemed to have made it a little bit smaller. Sorry guys, it's such a horrible light. Anyway, I don't know what that meant. Like staring at the beads for 20 minutes and then I was like, now it's this. Is what it is. You can sort it all out and start it over. It would take 5 days probably. I think it's good to have some limitations, like limited amount of beads. Now I have like some pops of color that probably otherwise I would not have done. I think it made the end result definitely a bit more interesting. I feel like it's a little game show. We just spin. It's like the casino here.
Many minutes later.
I will say I'm not a big fan of this knot in the end. This is not that cute, and also maybe the beads can kind of glide over this knot if you don't make it big enough. So instead I wanted to take the thread double so that I can put a little bead on the end. But hallelujah, I squeezed that eye of the needle very small, so I really had to go through the eye of the needle again to get through the eye of the needle. For the ones who missed the joke the first time around. Nope. Nope. This is bothering me so much already. Imagine doing it 100 times. But then...
Wait a minute!
After a while I just started to think the sound effects are just in my head. I remember there was actually a needle threader included in the kit. Basically lying next to me all that time. An absolute godsend. Now I have this thing that I can just insert into the hole or eye of the needle. Is that called eye? I think the eye sounds a lot more sophisticated than hole. But for some reason I feel like I've been calling it the hole for 5 years on my channel. Little bead at the very end and the two loose ends. I'm gonna try to get those through the needle, making it so much easier and quicker to thread the needle, at least when you get the hang of it. That's why I'm not drunk. I guess we just do it way too impatiently. This is a speed hack.
Yes!
In the beginning, I started to doubt this whole thing just a little. Wasn't going that quick or smooth as I expected. Oh my god, I suck. How is this possible? I can't do it. Then I realized it's just like taking a selfie. It can take a while to find the right angle. But when you find it, oh my god, it is just like a... let me stop there. It also helps to have a lot of beads in the bead spinner, I realized. It goes a lot easier that way. So, I think I might start with just making some strings, like in various sizes, and then we can still see how we want to apply them exactly onto the blazer. I just hope I have enough beads. That's the only thing. Now, what's it all? Rainbows and butterflies? No. Small percentage of the beads did still not go over the eye of the needle. I was not annoyed, just a strong urge to smack someone on the face.
Your motherfucking heavy and you motherfucking know your motherfucking hands.
So what does one do? One makes it work. You just drag the beads over the eye with brutal force, and the two small beads will pop by themselves. Some are basically breaking and jumping off. At the end of the day, who needs eyesight anyway?
12 seconds later.
Oh no! Not on the blazer. Already bleeding, and I'm so confused. But I think these little sharp beads that are jumping off are actually quite sharp.
Wow.
I mean, it's glass, guys. Absolutely nobody could have predicted that. Crush the beads that doesn't fit over it. That is also an option. Quite satisfying one. Which is fine, it's just, I don't know, maybe 2% or something. 2 to 5%. It should be 68% quicker than just doing it by hand. Minus 5%. We're still at a win here, guys. Does that make any sense to you? I don't know, guys. I am not a magician, mathematician, math person. But it sounded on point. The hard facts never lie. Honestly, sometimes when you drag them, they're going over anyway. But except for that, oh my god, when they're all going under in one sort of fluent motion, it is just as satisfying as I hoped it would be, as I expected it to be. This is a speed hack.
Yes!
Beautiful string. Keep looking at the beads and feel your body get more and more relaxed. When I snap my fingers, you'll subscribe to this channel. If you have subscribed already, check if the notifications are turned on under the bell icon, because YouTube does not recommend my videos. Oh, and when you edit, like the video too. Then when you wake up, you just don't remember anything. Don't want to have them jumping out. We already have a little bit of an issue with the scarcity of the right collars. Then I put little knots at the end, which was honestly a little bit pointless. It was way too small to hold the beads on it anyway. But I think psychologically it made me feel safer. We need to keep the ends of the strings quite long anyway, to use them for the embroidery. So when I keep it flat, the beads aren't really coming off. We're just testing today if ChatGPT can be our dry cleaner. Now the grease stain on the front. The convenient thing is that when the fabric is wet, you're not able to see if the stain is gone at all. But so I'm just gonna use the iron to lightly steam over it, almost without adding much pressure to the fabric, just to dry this water stain that I created now more quickly and evenly. At the very end it says, if it's wool, it's best to bring it to the dry cleaner. A little bit late now, but thank you ChatGPT for saying that after 5 prompts. Alright, that was actually quite quick. I think it was quicker than 68% more efficient. Felt like, boom, home. And we were done. Now we still have to attach it to the blazer, which is probably gonna take a little bit longer, but so far, this thing, I love it. So what I'm gonna do to make this embroidery a bit easier is to remove the bottom seams of the lining, where the lining is attached to the hem. Find some receipts in here. I guess there is some, oh, this pocket is broken. At first I thought to just add the strings and then attach them completely, but why not leave it as a sort of loose fringe a little bit as well? Doesn't make any sense to make all these strings and then not have any fringe. Yeah. And now. Well, just have to begin, I guess, and let it come to be. I'm just gonna start somewhere in the middle front and attach it with one little knot, I guess. In the worst case, we can still remove it, although I don't think it will be necessary. So I'm just gonna insert both ends through the same needle. Trying to find the right balance of a needle that has a big enough hole that it's easy to thread two threads over and over again, but not so big that the threads are gliding out all the time. I thought it would be practical to have the blazer hanging, so to get a better idea of how it's looking on the body, but not really not. I guess it's just more tiring on the arms. So I'm just picking up a tiny bit of fabric to hang the string on, then go through one more time, picking up a little bit, but leaving a little loop, which I go through again with the needle, creating a little knot, then I repeat 2-3 times. At first I wanted to properly knot those last knots off on the inside, so it's looking a little more discreet, but it would be so inconvenient. The lining will probably have to be opened a lot more, and you'd have to constantly sort of switch sides. So what I ended up doing for this blazer is only working on the outside, meaning that you will see the little knots on the outside, but when you see it over and over again, it's sort of part of the design, looking kind of cute and a lot more convenient. Oh, come on, don't be silly. That is a sweet egg.
Yes!
It's funny. A curtain thing? Where does that come from? This blazer is full of mysteries. Anyway. Okay, I put it on already 5 times. After each tray, I was like, let's see how it works. I think we're on the right track. Anyway, I think, yeah, for the real trompe l'oeil effect, we need to go up a bit more and sort of attach them without fringe. I mean, it's not gonna be enough for the whole blazer. That's what I already see. So on top, I'm gonna attach the strings fully, right on top of the stripes. So the loose ends of the string, I'm gonna knot off the exact same way as before. When it's knotted off well, I'm sticking the ends inside, by the way. Making a lot of sense now that we have a very limited amount of beads, to not apply too much beads in the top so that we can cover a bit more surface. I'm trying to leave an empty part on the string without any beads, so that when I fixate it later, I can leave some negative space in between, mostly to save some beads, but it's also less heavy, and actually my fabric is quite lightweight. So inside I think it might be actually beneficial. I think it would look best if you would do the whole blazer back and front, but honestly, otherwise we just don't do our little turn on the catwalk. If your thread is knotting, making little loops and sort of getting knot into each other, it's literally one of the more annoying things in life, but just dragging your needle through a little bit more slowly will already prevent a lot of that. I said slowly. That's not a speed hack. Shh. All I'm doing now is going around with a second thread, basically coming out of the fabric every few centimeters, making a little stitch around the string, come out a few centimeters further again, and repeat the whole thing. But the ring light, alright, finally. Let's see. It's also weirdly small.
11 minutes later. 11 minutes later. 11 minutes later.
No ring light.
At this point it was just music and podcast on and just going. But I got into the mood when I saw how rich the fabric was starting to look. Even though I'm using less and less beads, because I really want to cover the entire front now. And I really try to make it look like it's coming from the inside. Even if you would look from an angle, I think they can really make the difference. I feel like all the little threads and little knots you can see from up close really clear that this is handmade and has a lot of charm, okay? Let me know if you have any hand embroidery hacks or things to share in the comments. Now, I'm gonna be a little controversial, as I want nothing to mess with my fringe. The purists amongst you might hold their pincushions at this point, but what I have since been struggling with, why do we have so much frickin' buttons on a frickin' jacket that we frickin' don't use? Sorry, it's just upsetting me, but if you know the answer, let me know below. I'll pin the comment. So I ended up embroidering this sort of overlap underneath as well. At first I thought we can just easily, the concept is anyway to have it closed, because then all the lines are sort of straight when you stand still, ideally, theoretically. But realistically, you're not really, you know, you're wearing a jacket often open. Always good to think about how you actually gotta wear it. It would look just very unfinished when you have the jacket open and this part, one side isn't done and the other side parts are all done. At least I did manage to get a ring light somewhere. It's a little crappy, but I hope it's better than what it was without the ring light. I don't know, maybe it's the beard, but I feel like Jared Leto today. Or the white pants, it's a little bit cultish. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you liked the jacket. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Comment for the algorithm. If you don't know what to comment, just comment I bead you with a D or a T, doesn't matter. Thanks for my Patreons for supporting this channel. I hope to see you in another video. Check out my playlist full of fabric manipulation ideas you can do without sewing. Subscribe if you didn't do that yet. And turn on notifications, because I'm not that regular, so you'll be notified about my new videos. If you get the point at this point, but the idea is that when I stand still, it looks like a regular suit with a regular stripe. So I start moving. I don't know, I have a spot on my arm suddenly. Okay, I hold it back in front of it, I guess. Side of the jacket looked open. This is the scraps bag made of old jeans, and this is, you might have seen it, made of the curtain. All the tutorials are on my channel. Check it out if you're interested. I shall see you in the next video.